I go to tap, rack, nothing. Tap, rack, nothing. Tap. What the hell do I do, man? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What's up, warriors? This is Kyoshi Dave Herman with 5 Elements Tactical Training, here to share with you some warrior skills and drills that anyone can learn and everyone should know. If you're new to the channel, welcome and thanks for stopping by. If you already follow us on social media and that's how you find your way over to this channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the bell notification button, and YouTube will let you know when the next video drops. Alright, so as a follow-up to our Firearms Training 101 series, we're working on tap, rack, bang. Now, I've heard this called tap, rack, bang, tap, rack, ready. I guess that context depends on where you are when a malfunction happens and what your next course of action is going to be. If you're in the middle of a gunfight and you're going bang, 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 and it goes click instead of bang, well, man, it's going to be tap, rack, bang. But if you're at the range and you're not doing speed drills and you're not trying to, beat the clock or whatever, and you're not any of those things, man, then it's tap, rack, ready. And now, because this is part of our Firearms Training 101 series, and this is really for my most beginner students out there, speed is not what you're looking for right now. You don't get a prize for speed when you're starting out. What you're really trying to do right now is build good muscle memory. Learn, like, hey, if the gun goes click instead of bang, what do you do? Now, if you're ever not sure, you just place your gun on the bench in front of you, step back, raise your hand, wait for a range safety officer or your instructor, whoever it is, and ask for help. Make sure at all times, no matter what you're doing, you're always following the 4 basic rules of firearm safety, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, but especially when you're at the range or anytime you're going to be with a gun in your hand or around guns. So for the purpose of today's video, we're going to go over basically tap, rack, ready, and a couple of other simple malfunction clearing exercises that happen often, that happen at the range all the time, that when beginners experience them, especially if you're new to shooting and you're not really good on the grip strength yet or proper stance, and you're kind of like, most of them are shooter induced. Every now and then there's something wrong with your gun or something wrong with the ammunition, but more times than not, it's something wrong with you. Don't let that get you down. It happens to all of us, and it happens to guys who've been shooting and girls who've been shooting for a long time too also. So everybody makes mistakes. The thing is learning what to do when those mistakes happen, how to correct them on your own, how to correct them safely. So we'll run through the basics first, a couple different ways to navigate them, what they look like, how you'll recognize them when they happen. But when you practice them, I repeat, when you practice them, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Don't try to rush through any of it. Just learn the steps, step by step, one at a time, doing each part correctly as it's supposed to be done, while most importantly, observing and following the 4 basic rules of firearm safety. All right, let's get after it. So starting with a safe and empty firearm, just like if you stepped up to the bench and you pick up your firearm and you pick up your magazine and you seat your magazine, we're going to insert the magazine and push it till it clicks. That's actually the first part of tap. Yes and no. So I push it until it clicks. The tap is when we're doing it, as you get better and you get faster at it, you want to tap the bottom to make sure that that click has happened and it's staying put. Rack is just basically when you rack the slide to put in a fresh bullet. And then bang would be when you extend and we go, oh no, when click, not bang. So in this moment, I'm going to tap the bottom. I thought it was going to go bang. It went click instead. I tap the bottom to make sure that the magazine is seated and locked into place. I reach my hand over without reaching in front of the gun. I rack it so it ejects. If the round was problematic, it ejects the bad round and feeds a fresh round in. Roll back, extend, went click, not bang. So again, I'm going to tap the bottom to make sure that the magazine is seated and locked into place. Roll my hand over, rack it, go to fire, slide is locked to the rear. We go to our reload drill. If you don't know how to reload, watch the video on how to reload a gun, not a bullet. What I do is I bring it back, I drop my magazine, I take a fresh round, insert the magazine till it clicks, wrap over the top, rack, aim, fire, damn it. Tap, rack, aim, damn it. Tap, rack. Oh no, I'm empty. Bring it in, drop, replace, bang. Inspect to make sure you have a safe and empty firearm. Look away. Visually and manually inspect to make sure you have a safe and empty firearm. Place your firearm on the bench with the slide lock to the rear, your ejection port facing up. Step away. End of exercise. And that's how you do a tap rack ready or tap rack bang. Now, if you notice, I did everything with dummy rounds and, you know, stuff that I could practice inside my house. I just make sure that all the live ammunition is somewhere else. Now, some of you, again, if you watch other videos, you'll see that not everybody's a monkey gripper. Some of you guys are lobster clawers, and you like to rack it like this, and that's fine. I'll show you how you do it that way. So the way we're going to do this, for my lobster claw buddies, I step up to the bench. I have a safe and empty firearm. I'm going to load my firearm. I pick it up. I pick up my magazine, insert my magazine till it's seated, rotate the gun, lobster claw, rack it. I go to shoot. It goes click instead of bang. I tap the bottom to make sure that the magazine is seated and locked into place. I rotate the gun over so that I can rack it, aim, damn. I tap, rack, empty. I drop my magazine. I feed a fresh magazine again till it clicks. Rotate the firearm, rack it, damn. Tap, rack, empty. Drop my magazine, fresh round, roll it, rack it, aim, damn, tap, rack, damn, empty, drop my magazine, visually and physically inspect, look away, visually and physically inspect to make sure I have a safe and empty firearm, place it on the bench, muzzle pointed down range, ejection port facing up, step away from the bench. End of exercise. All right, so another time you would use tap rack ready or tap rack bang is when you get what's called a stovepipe or a smokestack, or I'm sure there's some other names out there. Basically, it's like a failure to eject the previous round. So it went bang, and somehow, either from how you limp wristed the gun or whatever, the bullet went down range, and instead of the casing, the shiny part of the bullet, instead of jumping out to the side and landing somewhere else, it got caught in the top. If you can see that, I'll try to bring that in. It's called a smokestack, all right, a stovepipe. And what happens is now there's a lot of schools of thought on what do you do with this. And the easiest one is sometimes if you tap hard enough, it makes it jump out. If not, I've seen people start karate chopping it. Other people take their other magazine and go to whack it out. Hey man, just tap it, rack it. Now I just lost the next round, and that's fine. What you want, though, is to make sure that you clear that malfunction. And then again, you would tap, rack. That was my last round. Now we go for a magazine change. A stovepipe is when the slide won't lock forward because the shell, this casing, the piece that's supposed to fly out the side, didn't fly out the side, and it's kind of like jamming up the gun. And what you do is you tap it, rack it, and get back on. I'll show you again. Okay, so I have 2 dummy rounds in here. And I put two dummy rounds in because a lot of times when you rack it with a stovepipe, the round that's in the chamber or trying to get in the chamber, that goes flying too. And I did it so I won't wind up empty. Again, this is like, I made this happen, but it happens sometimes. But if it happens to you, you tap, rack, bang. Oh no, it went click, not bang. Tap, rack, bang. Oh no. Tap, rack, empty. And that's how you navigate a stovepipe. Still tap, rack, ready. You could do the whole karate chop and all that stuff, but it's really not necessary. People will ask, like, if you do it really fast, it looks like you're kind of like grabbing the casing that's sticking at the top. Honestly, I don't even focus on that. I just tap, rack. When I rack, I never have my hand flat on the top of the gun because I don't want to get any part of my flesh stuck in the moving parts, right? So when you tap it and grab the top, you won't even be touching the stovepipe. If you're a lobster claw person, same thing. You're grabbing the gun in a position where your hand doesn't even really go near it. You would tap, rack, and get back on. Tap, rack, get back on. Tap, rack. Again, tap, rack, ready, or tap, rack, bang for dealing with a stovepipe. All right, and there's one more malfunction that when I'm teaching tap, rack, ready, tap, rack, bang, and dealing with smokestacks, it's like the second part to tap, rack, ready. It's called rip and work. I've heard that, called a lot of different things, but basically what happens is if tap, rack, bang, or tap, rack, ready doesn't work, usually what you have is a double feed. And the way a double feed works is a magazine has a spring on the inside. So there's always this upward pressure to feed the next round into the firearm. And the firearm, inside the slide, there's a big spring that's always putting forward pressure to help take that next round and slam it into the chamber. So you have upward pressure from the magazine to feed the bullet, and then you have forward pressure from the spring inside the gun to chamber the bullet. So this puts it like into the ready position, this puts it into the gun. This puts it into the ready position, this spring puts it into the gun or into the barrel, ready to fire. So now if you had a failure to extract, so a lot of things happen when the gun goes off. You pull the trigger, yes, hopefully it goes bang, the bullet goes in the middle of the thing, beautiful bullseye, the stars are aligned, and when the explosion goes off, it forces the gun back, ejecting that empty brass thing that has no more bullet, no more gunpowder, no more primer, it's all gone, that goes out to the side. The spring from down below feeds the next round in, and in that fraction of a second, it rams another round into the chamber. So the next time you pull the trigger, it goes off again. If for some reason it fails to extract, so I'm taking a spent brass, like an empty, I use gravity, again, it's safe and empty weapon. I point it down, I drop that into place. Now when I put my magazine in, I might have to refocus this so you can see it. But what you have in here is there's a round in the chamber that's not going to allow the fresh round to go in. So when I drop this forward, so the upward pressure from this is trying to feed the next round in, right? And the forward pressure is trying to force that round into the chamber, but it can't get into the chamber. Again, there's old dummy rounds or spent brass. There's no live ammunition present, but it can't get in there because in here there's a blockage. It's the other round that went off, but it failed to yank out the brass and throw it to the side. This is called a double feed. Now I'm going to do it from here, but so the slide is locked to the rear. It's loaded. My magazine's in there. Nothing's going to happen. I go to tap, rack, nothing. Tap, rack, nothing. Tap. What the hell do I do, man? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Well, what you do is, now, this is a little bit tricky. I go to push the magazine release, and my magazine won't drop because of the upward pressure and the forward pressure has that top round that's still in the magazine kind of stuck in between. So what I need to do is I push the magazine release button. I'm going to rip the magazine out. I put it to the side. I work it. There goes the spent brass. I'm ready. I tap, rack, and get back on. And that's how you deal with a double feed. So the first part, of course, is going to be your tap, rack. It's not ready. It's not going to go bang. Try again because your muscle memory, tap, rack, oh no, tap, rack, oh no, tap, oh my God. You look and you're like, oh my God, a double feed. And that's where most people will freak out. And before you freak out, just follow these steps. You're going to remember that when you push the magazine, it's not going to drop like that. So what we do is we push the magazine release and we like rip it out. I put it on the side so it's close by. I still have good control of my gun. Still have my magazine ready to go. I grab and I'm going to work. Then reinsert my magazine. Rack to chamber a fresh round, and then we go back to bang. So we have tap, rack ready, and we have rip and work. Ready? I'll show you. So again, so far we're doing tap, rack ready and rip and work, and I haven't shot a single bullet yet. So again, this is something that you could practice at home to practice the fundamentals, because a double feed and a smokestack or stovepipe, those are things that get a lot of people, a lot of new shooters like, oh my God, it's not supposed to do that. What do I do? And again, when I'm the instructor and I'm standing there watching them do their thing, the first thing I see it happen, and I'm ready to like jump on the gun, because newbies, they don't know, and they'll turn out, hey, what's going on with my gun? And you're like, ah! So again, if any of these things happen and you're not sure what to do, just bench your gun, step back, raise your hand, and ask for help. If you're home and practicing, that you shouldn't be doing any live fire at home unless you got a huge backyard like this and you're doing all the stuff safe. But you could practice these things using just dummy rounds. I use, I'll pick up a spent brass off the floor sometimes at the range if I want to like help induce one of these things, but I do it for the student. Like, I don't tell them how to do it. I'm like, whoa, no. It's not expert stuff, but it's not beginner stuff either. So again, the way we practice a stovepipe is I'll take 2 dummy rounds, I put it in the magazine, I load the magazine. I'll let the slide go forward slow. Again, even when I do this slow, I'm doing it in such a way that I'm grabbing the barrel, the slide close to the front, but nothing is in front of it. And I take another dummy round and I just place it on the top. All right, and there's your smokestack. Now, it's not usually a whole bullet, it's just a casing typically, but when you see it, you're like, what the hell is that? And of course, it's not going to go bang. So, again, I've seen the karate chop, I've seen take another magazine and whack. Just try this. You ever have it happen? Tap, rack. Now you notice that it just jumped, 2 rounds jumped out. One would have been the spent brass that was stuck in the top, the problematic thing, and the next round that was going to go. But because I racked it, there's one in there, and it should go bang, not click. Uh-oh. All right, now we're empty. So that's how we practice a stovepipe. The way to practice a double feed is like this. Again, I put 2 rounds in the magazine. Do this a couple times. And again, to induce a double feed, you could either put a round, not a live round, either a dummy round or empty spent brass. So again, the primer's in there, but it's dented and used. There's no gunpowder, there's no projectile. It's like, clearly this thing already went off. It's just a spare, something I would pick up off the ground. So a double feed is when somehow there's a round in the chamber. For now, I'll use a dummy round. Again, I have a safe and empty firearm. Even still, I don't point it at myself. I drop that in. I let gravity help it go into place. I take my magazine. I feed it. And when I go to rack it, it won't rack. And again, it can't rack. It can't cycle because there's upward pressure from here trying to force a bullet into the ready position to go into the chamber, and there's forward pressure from the spring of the frame trying to ram it into the chamber. But it can't go in there because there's a blockage. The previous round failed to extract, failed to eject, whatever reason, it's still in there. Now, those 2 types of pressure, both upward and forward, are what's keeping it locked in place, that no matter how much I tap, nothing's going to happen. It's just like, you can't even do like nothing. And the pressure is what's going to keep the magazine from dropping. So here I am. I rotate the gun in my hand so I can activate the magazine catch release and nothing happens. So what you have to do is with your fingers, with your fingertips, however you do it, again, keeping your finger off the trigger, muzzle pointed in a safe direction, I rip it. Now what I do is I put it between my pinky and the rest of my hand so that I can still have my finger off the trigger, a good grasp on the gun, rack it just to make sure, tap, rack, engage. Safe and empty, safe and empty. Double feed. So we're going to go hot now, and I'll show you how it's supposed to look and how it's supposed to go so that when it happens, again, there's no prize for speed, there's prize for making sure you're doing all the steps correctly and most important, safely. Okay, so this is where I'm going to mix my rounds. I'm going to practice tap rack ready. And again, you could go through a whole magazine like this, depending on what you're trying to practice. Again, I'm loading my own magazine. So what I know is I'm going to put them in the reverse of how I want them to come out, okay? So I go dummy round, live round, dummy round, live round. So now it'll go bang, click, damn it, bang, click, damn it. The next one I'm going to put live round, dummy round, live round, dummy round, live round. And that's going to go bang, click, bang, click, bang, empty for a reload. And the third one, I'll just do the same as the first. Tap rack ready. Safe and empty firearm. Take my first magazine, load, charge. Slide locks to the rear. It's not tap rack ready, it's a reload. The gun's empty. So I eject my magazine, fresh round. For my lobster claw people, I roll the gun over, charge, roll the gun over, tap rack, click not bang, tap rack. Slide is locked to the rear. It's not a tap rack ready, it's a reload. Drop my magazine, insert a fresh magazine, rack. Safe and empty. Look away, visually manually inspect, safe and empty. Place your firearm on the bench, slide lock to the rear, ejection port facing up. Step back, end of exercise. All right, the stovepipe. So I have a loaded firearm. I have the stovepipe in top, ready. I go to shoot, tap, rack. So I lost a good round and the stovepipe. I have another stovepipe. Again, whether you take a magazine and whack it out or you karate chop it out, it goes click, not bang. I'm like, oh my God, I just tap it, rack it. The stovepipe and the round that was jammed in there is gone. Same idea. Once again, loaded and charged firearm, stovepipe. I'm shooting. I'm like, what the hell is that thing? I tap, rack. All right, now stovepipe for my lobster claw people. I'm shooting, goes bang, 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 click. Oh my God, what is that thing? Smokestack, I tap, rack. I ditched my smokestack and the problem round. Reload. Fresh magazine, roll. For the sake of this exercise, I put a smokestack in. Oh no. Tap rack. Bang, bang. Drop. Reload. Rack. For the sake of the drill. I'm shooting. Click. Smokestack. What the hell? Tap. Oops, sorry. Rack. Safe and empty. Safe and empty. Safe and empty. Safe and empty. Smokestack. Double feed. I take a safe and empty firearm. I drop spent brass in there, not a real bullet. I insert my magazine. I go to let the slide forward, and I wind up with a double feed. So there's a round in the chamber that failed to extract, bad round, whatever kind of round, and it went to cycle. It fed another round, did not extract or eject the round, and now we have a double feed. So again, just a reminder, you have upward pressure from your magazine trying to feed a round into the ready position, and forward pressure from your slide trying to ram it into the barrel so that it's ready to go bang, and it's all jammed up in there. So we tap rack, nothing, tap rack, and you realize, oh no, I have a double feed. So remember that upward and forward pressure is what's going to hold the magazine in place so that when I push the magazine release, nothing happens. So you're going to rip, it'll slide forward, I hold it in my pinky, I work, there's my problem round, safe and clear, tap, rack. Now again, so that I can recreate that, I have a safe and empty firearm. I take a spent round, I drop this in, magazine, Again, this is to induce that double feed. So I go to fire. What is going on? The slide is locked to the rear. Oh my God. I tap, rack, nothing. Tap, rack, nothing. Oh my God. I go to eject the magazine. It's not coming out. What do I do? What do I do? Rip, work, reload, tap, rack, empty. For my lobster claw people out there, I take a spent case, insert, I go to rack it, and it's stuck. So I'm shooting, goes click, not bang. Slide is locked to the rear, it's not empty. Oh my God, tap, rack, what? Tap, rack, what? I go to eject, it's not coming out. I have to rip, work, insert, safe and empty, safe and empty. Rip, work, tap, rack, ready. Or rip, work, tap, rack, bang. So when it comes to live fire, malfunctions, and trying to induce them on your own, I do not recommend that whatsoever for beginners, whatsoever. If you have a firearms instructor or you're at the range and you're taking a class or a course and they're going to do it for you, that's one thing. If you want to mess with that stuff at home using, again, dummy rounds and inert, like no live ammunition, then have at it. Just be careful. Always, practice the firearm safety rules. But when it comes to trying to induce malfunctions at the range, there's no need to do it. They will induce themselves, or you will do it unknowingly. Well, if you made it this far and you like what I'm teaching or preaching, go ahead and give me a thumbs up and like this video. If you're loving it, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you gotta have it, make sure you hit the bell notification button so YouTube will let you know when the next video drops. If you're really digging it and you want more, you can find us on all social media platforms at 5 Elements Tactical. Well, that's all I got for now, warriors. So until our paths cross again, pray for the best, prepare for the rest. I'm Kyoshi Dave Herman with 5 Elements Tactical Training. Thanks for watching.